All right, guys, welcome back into another PGA DFS video. My name is Polzin with 9 Sports, breaking down the Houston Open. Yes, a PGA DFS video, PGA DFS live stream video. It's been a while since I've done really any live stream video, so we'll see how it goes. The production quality kind of falls off a little bit, and that's kind of why I don't like doing it. I'm going to check on my phone real quick, make sure it's going well. Looks pretty good thus far. We'll see. Let's hope that holds up. But yeah, the Houston Open here. If you guys have any questions, make sure to get them in. I do have a pop-up chat feature that I would like to use. At the same time, I don't really expect too many people to be in this video because, well, it's been a while since I've done a live stream. And it's a PGA DFS video. In the fall, people just don't click on PGA videos that much, even if it is a good fall thus far. So we'll see. We'll see. But I'll do the same thing that I always do, but I'm going to get into a little bit more detail here, guys. I'm going to go kind of through the data tag and show you guys what the data is saying. Then I'll show you guys the ownership leverage. All right. That'll be fun. And then kind of just my overall betting thoughts. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, let's see what I got to do here. Just trying to resize it so it fits. There we go. All right, so I have the 9 to 5 cheat sheet pulled up here right now. It's a thing of beauty, I know. But here, just going into the data tag. So the data tag is breaking down how we should value a player, what the data says how we should value a player. And this is just by looking at kind of what the data says is going to be a good play, what the data says is going to be a made cut or a top 10 finish or win. That is what I'm trying to look at here. So that is what the data tag says. So we'll start off with the core play. It's just as simple as that. So just looking at right now, guys, Scotty Scheffler is a player that is really popping up here, and I'll click on him for the player profile. We can see course history wise, he's had 3 starts here at this tournament. And I should say tournament because yes, this tournament has been played at a different course over the last 4 years. But at the same time, if you were to use a comp course, it would be the one from Houston Golf Club. So yes, you do want to look at the last 2 years, but it is nice to still see that people have event history regardless. Either way, he still has good course history. He finished second at this event last year. Key stat-wise, we can see he is going to be a strong stat fit as well. The key stats I'm looking at this week are going to be the same as they typically are, looking at strokes gained total, effective scoring, par 5 scoring, and birdie or better percentage. Throughout my deep dive of data, really this fall, I've noticed that you really shouldn't change these too much. Maybe you go from birdie to bogey ratio instead of birdie or better percentage, and maybe you go from par 4 scoring instead of par 5 scoring. Basically, players that are going to do well are going to be scoring birdies, and they're going to do that on par 5s. They're not going to make many mistakes, and you always just kind of want to look at strokes gained total. So I'm kind of just been really dialing in on that. But Scotty Scheffler, recent form-wise, spectacular as you'd expect. A third. Last week, 45th, second, third, had a little bit of a rough stretch in there, but since this season has started, he has been someone you've been wanting to go out of your way to play. So yes, he is someone that I am going to be rostering. Now, Hideki is someone that is ranking out as a core play. I'm not exactly sure I want to go that route just yet. Mostly because of all the concerns that we've had from him. If we're looking at the recent form here for Hideki, and I'll pull it up on the player profile, we can see the recent form from him was at no-cut events, okay? And that's not pretty. We don't like that. We want to see good form, okay? And so that does worry me. So he is popping up as a core play on the data tag, and this is where I might say, all right, let's dial back. Maybe we just make him a high exposure play or a mid exposure play. Not someone you exactly need to go out of your way to play is how I view it. Although the data says, hey, good course history. He is in good recent form, kind of. He's been able to make cuts is pretty much what it's telling us. And he is a good specialist. He does do well on longer, harder to score on tracks. So that's what that is telling us. Then Aaron Wise. To me, Aaron Wise is going to be a great starting point to your lineups. Aaron Wise, course history-wise, 26th and 11th place finish. Obviously, you like that, but he has been someone that for a while seems like he has been trending in that right direction that you want to see. He has been one of those guys that it really just wouldn't be shocking to see him win. He's had a 15th and a 6th place finish over his last 2 starts, made the cut with the 64th place finish. And that's what I like to see. When I'm looking at golfers, that might have a bad start mixed in there or not, I like to see that they were at least able to make the cut, that they're able to grind out and make cut. Okay. That is what I like to see. And that's why Aaron Wise is still ranking out as a core play. Has a great chance to make the cut, 85% chance, which is awesome. Specialist, decent specialist ranking, top 15, course history rank, top 10, good starts there. And then stat fit in recent form, spectacular stuff from there. So it's no surprise that he is popping up as the third best pick. And then Maverick McNeely. This might shock people that one, he's a core play, and then two, that he is the fourth best pick in the 905 mile this week. But when you look at it, it makes sense. 3 starts at this tournament that have all been top 20 or better finishes. Spectacular stuff there. And you look at his recent form, 4 straight starts of top 20 or better finishes. So Maverick McNeely is one of those really strong plays. The worry with him, and it's the only worry, his specialist ranking, 51st. That is crazy to me. So that would be kind of my worry with him there, is that specialist ranking. Now we'll be getting, I'm just going to go through the data tag here, okay? And then I'll get into ownership leverage. And then I'll be getting into a little bit of the betting sheet as well. If you guys have any questions, remember to get them in. I do have a chat highlight thing that I want to test out. So I don't know if it's going to work. It should work, but it's my first time using it, so I'm not sure. All right, so as you guys can see, not that many core plays listed on the data tag and not that many high exposure plays listed on the data tag. That should tell you the week that we have. Last week, I pretty much thought every golfer was a strong cash play, strong likelihood to make the cut, and that's pretty much what happened. There's a couple of high-owned players like Tony Finau that missed the cut, but for the most part, kind of an easier to predict week in the sense of you knew the players that you were going to be on had a good chance to make the cut. Whereas this week, they're given the price points, it's a lot more difficult. So I don't think I have to tell you guys this, but the reason why Tony Finau is getting knocked here is because he has a miscut at this tournament. That is not good. And because he's coming off of a miscut. Now that miscut was the 69th place finish. So, miscutting the number all in all, not hurting him too much. And that upside is still there. Okay, he is still the second best staff. It's still a top 5 specialist, still top 5 in recent form rank. But the worries are there. Coming in off of a miscut, does have poor course history. It wouldn't shock me to see him, even win this week. Okay, we look at Russell Henley. He was the second best staff fit last week. Tony Finau is the second best staff fit this week. These golfers can put it all together. It's just you do worry about him. And that's why he's getting knocked here. And then Andrew Putnam, he's getting knocked because he's not the best staff fit, although he does rank out top 30. Course history-wise, 41st. We'd like to see that he made the cut, and then a miscut. So, 50% for made cuts at this course, it's a little bit worrisome. But at least he has that course experience, and at least he did make the cut. And at least he made the cut in his last start here. Key stat-wise, could be a little bit better key stat-wise, and that's going to be the worry with him. But he has been making birdies, and he has been scoring on par 5s. So all in all, he should be able to make the cut. And at 8.6, that is a strong, pretty good price point. We're fine with that, especially given the nature of this week. And then from there, let's look at mid-exposure plays. There are a ton of mid-exposure plays, and that is kind of the theme this week, is that we have a lot of decent plays, okay? Sam Burns. I think he's a great play. I'm going to be playing him. Gets a little bit knocked with his course history, but if you look at his last 2 starts at this tournament, a 7th and a 7th place finish, that's obviously spectacular. That is what we want to see from Sam Burns. So we like that there from him. Personally, I think he's a player that we should be going out of our way to play. He is someone that should be an outright bet as well. Sam Burns, yes, he is priced that way, but he should be. And I do want to pull up Russell Henley here, guys. We can see Russell Henley is an elite play, and I'm curious as to the ownership leverage on him. Okay, because ownership leverage-wise, he was ranking out well. So let me pull that up. All right, so yes, still the top leverage rank player. And I do find that funny. Well, guys, this tool, I don't want to say it's my pride and joy, but it has been very accurate lately, okay? And I always said 2 years ago or 3 years ago, especially in golf, people just talk about ownership to talk about ownership. And then I was like, all right, let's, obviously people like hearing the ownership talk. And there is a little bit of value in it with golf. It's a little bit different from the other sports, though, because, well, all in all, you just want to get 6 for 6 across the cut line. And, for the most part, if someone is chalky, that's for a good reason. But I'm like, all right, well, if someone's chalky, does that make them a bad play? I want to, figure that out. And so that is when I came up with this tool. And so for me, I love it. Okay. And it's been well. So like Seamus Power coming off of a win was top 5 at this last week. And these are all the players that are just undervalued given how they're ranking, given how they're projected to do, and given the players priced around them. So yes, Russell Henley, he is coming off of a win. Okay. And he probably isn't going to perform that well, but leverage wise, you can gain some nice leverage on the field on a quality play. So that's a route that you can go. We got Denny popping up there, Hideki, Salik Tagala. And I do want to point this out, guys. This is something that's funny to me. So I'm just going to sort it by golfers that are high owned. And let's just look at which players are going to be overvalued this week. All right. So yeah, this was weird to me. Robbie Shelton is gaining a lot of ownership on the field randomly. 12% definitely too high owned. And this is crazy, guys. Like on a typical week, we do not see this many players over really 6% be in the red. Okay. It's like 2 players. Okay. So we can see a few things. One is that the ownership is being spread out. Okay. That's great. Actually, kind of 3 things. 2, that people just don't know who to play. They're kind of just firing at the hip. No one is drawing too much ownership that shouldn't be. And 3, it does seem like, I don't want to say there's bad advice out there, but there is some interesting takes that are going out there, which does happen in fall golf. Okay. Fall golf is supposed to be hard to predict. Okay. It's not supposed to be easy to predict. We will see if that holds up. I do want to point this out as well. Okay. He dropped a little bit. He was like 34, I think, earlier on this week, but this is where I like the tool. Okay. This is where it's designed to do. Scottie Scheffler is obviously the best play in the field this week, but at the same time, he is starting at 32% projected ownership. He is starting to get overowned. He is in that orange area. And so like a lot of the years, people be like, oh, he's 32% owned. You can't play him. Well, that's just not true. We got the data that says, he can be an all right play. Same thing with Aaron Wise. Yes, he is very chalky. And I didn't realize that. He is very chalky. But at the same time, he's in the yellow. So at the yellow, you can start thinking about fading him. You don't have to, though. And then Taylor Pendrith as well, 14% projected ownership for a guy I see as a GPP only play. It's kind of strange. Lee Hodges, I'm fine with. But like at the same time, like, do you feel the need to play any of these guys that are in the red this week? No, they're not. None of them are like must plays. All right. You can definitely find different players at those price points that are going to be just as good of plays. And that's kind of the weird thing about kind of the ownership this fall. I will say, like at the end of last year, we didn't really see too much bad ownership. And now this fall, it seems like, all right, no one's paying attention. It's NFL season. NBA's back. People are like paying more attention to that. And we're seeing some bad ownerships. So it is kind of strange. And let's see here. Anyone else? I'm curious if there's anyone else that was worth mentioning ownership wise. Yeah, Finau, you can play. Burns. I like Burns, still kind of underowned. Now, nothing too crazy here. And now, just out of curiosity, I know I was going through the mid-exposure plays. I don't feel the need to touch on that too much. That's just kind of redundant. So we can see, based on the fades, guys, there are no fades at the data. This is separate from the ownership leverage. There's no fades that the data is saying we should make that are above 8K, which is kind of annoying at the same time. So like, yes, DraftKings did a great job pricing. Okay, we know that. Really, over the past year and a half now, DraftKings figured out, and FanDuel for that reason, figured out how to draft or price slates correctly. Okay, there's no more like free squares in PGA DFS anymore. They're all priced correctly. Now, yes, you can gain edges here and there, but there's no blatantly mispriced players like there used to be when I started giving out content. And that's kind of unfortunate because it'd be a lot of fun getting a golfer at 7K that really could be $1,500 more expensive. But yeah, we just don't get that anymore. So fades. Why are these golfers coming in as fades? Let's just tell you guys that. It's a few things. One, recent form is king. Okay, so we're looking at recent form. If they have poor recent form, they're going to be not ranking out well. Okay, then from there, they just need to be a good specialist or good in course history or good in stat fit or good in recent form. And what I mean by that, at least top 30 ranking in those. Okay, and all these golfers are not doing that in the field. Okay, so that is why they're coming in as fades. And hey, wouldn't you know it? Robbie Shelton. Interesting stuff there. I guess I kind of get it. Recent form coming in off of a miscut prior to that. Played pretty well. Decent stat fit in the sense that price point wise, you could find a reason to play him, I guess. But once again, if he's going to be over 10%, over 8%, no reason to force that. I don't think. There's other players in that price point range that are going to be just as good. Russell Knox is someone that you expect to be right on a made cut or not, so you could play him. Nick Taylor, I actually like Nick Taylor, but kind of same thing, someone that you kind of think would be right around a made cut or not. And then obviously the lower we go down, the more likely they are to be a fade. I mean, that just makes sense there. And then while we're here, guys, I do just want to show you guys some updates that I made to the 9 to 5 dashboard, which I'm kind of excited to get into. So one, just on the page itself, I do have just simple stuff like if anyone's ever confused as to how to use it, they can, how to use written version, how to use videos there. We have the PGA DFS Lite version, which I'm going to try to turn into an app. And I can kind of show you guys that here, maybe on my phone. Not sure if I want to do this just yet, because then it's just one more thing that I need to manage and one more cost. Obviously, the whole membership is set up to be a great value for everyone. And that's just another cost that would occur. So this is just like a rough draft version. And yeah, you won't be able to see it too well. But, it's just like a simple, and it would pull up the player, has a swiping feature. I am thinking about doing that. We'll see. Like I said, it's just another cost that I don't know if it's worthwhile for people. So yeah, just some simple updates that I made. This one is the easy one, just a little bit bigger to the 9 to 5 custom model. Okay. And someone on the Discord chat today was asking, hey, Eric, can you do like some sort of export feature? That is what I'm working on. So I'm working on some sort of export feature from where you can make your own custom model, which don't. Okay, guys, I'd say that's the number one problem people have in PGA DFS nowadays is that they're making their own custom models all the time. And it's like, all right, no, we know what the data is now. Like nowadays, we know what we should be looking at. And that's where like the cheat sheet and the data, yes, it's not always going to be right. It is golf. Okay. And there are edges you can make, but like pricing's correct. Odds are correct. My model is set up. The 9 to 5 model is already curated for that week's tournament. Plus we are factoring in more of a made cut. Okay. So that's my long way of saying if people are talking about their own like custom model that they make differently each week, it bothers me. It's like fluff talk, whatever. We're not talking about that, but for people that want that, I get it. People want the hands-on experience. They want to be able to do this stuff. I might have a feature like that where you'd export it and then you would import it. Let me show you into the PGA lineup builder. I'll pull it up. So you'd essentially, this is what I want to do. You would have like a little export here, and then you would go here and then upload the data. Okay. Upload CSV. That is my goal. I'm not sure how long that'll take me to figure out. And I haven't really made it a priority just yet, but it is something I do want to do. And it'd be on this tab. But this tab's fun. Like, you can really put in whatever you want into it, and then you can see which players are ranking out the best. I like that. One other updates that I did as well, which I'm very excited to get into, is the specialist tab, okay? And the custom model specialist tab. So a lot of times you guys will see me reference certain data points and whatnot. Like, hey, this golfer in bad weather events or events that had delays. This is where I come up with this, is on this sheet, okay? Like, let's say weather delay, you would type in delay and select all the tournaments in which there's a delay on, which is awesome. But you can also sort it by date, number of starts going into the data source, which is something I didn't previously have. And then we have all this stuff over here as well. Let me just zoom out so you can see it better. Okay, so you can see it better. So we have the data for this week's tournament. So like let's just say I just want to look at the high exposure plays, or the high tier plays, sorry. You can sort by that, and this is how you can gain an edge on it, and then you can just sort by place. And let's just say you want to look at golfers on harder scoring tracks, harder scoring events. Who fares the best? You can do it that way. Now, yes, guys, this is already done in the specialist tab. Okay, this is already done. Go to specialist. And then you would click on scoring. And we already have that. Okay. But this is for those people that want their own look. Okay. And so I like that I was able to update this. Then we could do it by weird shit. Sorry for the swearing. We could do it by weird stuff, though. You could do it by rough length, Wazer hazards in play, total Wazer hazards, thickness of rough. Like, you can sort it by all that random stuff as well. I don't know. There's sometimes, I don't know, it's just fun to have, honestly. That's what it comes down to, is having that data is fun to have. And then so I bring that all together then in the custom model specialist page. Now, the issue with this is that there's not as much, I don't want to say data going into it, but the data is set up a little bit differently. So I like to use them individually rather than combine them. So just wearisome, but it does have that combined together. So it is kind of just a fun feature for you guys as well. And then there are some other stuff that I'm working on as well. But yeah, I'm kind of excited for that. So it doesn't look like we have too many questions. I'll be getting out of here shortly. Don't think there's too much to talk about after that, but we kind of talk about betting here real quick. So let's just look at golfers that have the early tee time. So like first round leader rank. This is something I was trying to update this week, so I might have to double check this and see. Let's see here: Scotty, Sam Burns, Aaron Wise, Taylor Montgomery, strong first round leader bets, and you can get them at good odds. First round leader has been a little bit harder recently, and I think that's just because of the fall swing. This isn't something I've looked at just yet data wise, but the fall swing, it could be because of the weather. You know, the course, instead of playing softer in the morning, it plays a little bit harder. And there's been some weird like weather stuff going on as well, to the point where you don't really have to be chasing the, AM PM split too much. So just something to look out for there. But yeah, overall win rank, let's look at that. So golfers that are most likely to win, I mean, no big shocks here. Scotty Scheffler, Sam Burns, Tony Finau, Maverick McNeely, Aaron Wise, Hideki Denny, no shocks there. And then if we just compare that to golfers that have the best odds, it's pretty much the same thing. So there's not too big of an edge there, which is kind of unfortunate. It is kind of crazy, though. Vegas is giving Scotty Scheffler basically a 20% chance to win this week, which is kind of crazy there. My cat in the background just yawned. So yeah, let's I'm going to be wrapping up here. Let's go to the end screen and then I'll be getting out of here. Guess I could show you. No, it's fine. I was going to show you guys an optimal build, but I guess we can do that real quick. So with the lineup optimizer, let's just show you guys a optimal build real quick. So the thing that you always have to do when you use this is set 2 data points for it to go off of to start off with, and then whatever, generate. There we go. The optimal lineup this week. Well, one of them. Let's scroll over. Maverick McNeely, Alex Noren, Andrew Putnam, Wyndham Clark, Patrick Rogers, and Alex Smalley. I actually love Alex Smalley this week. I don't know how he isn't chalk. That is strange to me. I guess I should talk about Alex Smalley, and then I'll be getting out of here. I promise, guys. So Alex Smalley is someone that I do have an outright bet on, because I think he has a strong chance. And we can see data-wise, pretty solid play, top 12 play. We can see recent form has been solid, kind of. Only ranks out 31st in recent form rank, I guess. Has a good start at this tournament. Pretty good specialist. And just kind of given the price point, he's someone that I've been ending up on a lot. Last start was an 11th place finish. I like that. And this is going back to like we have some strange chalk at some certain price points. And like he is someone to me that should be higher owned. I'll show it on here actually. Sort by ownership. No, I'm gonna sort by salary. So like when we're looking at this, we can see percent owned. Like you got Hodges, Rye, who are both good plays, but then you have Smalley being, not chalky. Will Gordon's kind of getting some high ownership, 13% projected ownership, but you guys can kind of see there are some slight edges you can make, but we can also see that the ownership is pretty spread out. Yeah, that's what's kind of weird is that it's all kind of spread out amongst players that probably shouldn't be. So it's kind of interesting there. All right, but that was the live stream for today. Once again, it is a PGA DFS video in the fall. Not going to have too many people coming in here. I just want to get a golf video out to you guys because I hadn't done that this week yet. I didn't want to end my streak. It's been like 2 years straight of getting a PGA DFS video out for each and every tournament. Now, yes, I did a lot of data updates, and that's why it took so long. And also, I valued the member write-up that I do each week, the deep dive into that. So obviously got that out first. But if you guys would enjoy live stream more frequently, I can do that. It's just, it hurts the channel out. And I, for years, was, putting out what I thought was good content, putting out what was the same content that I'm currently putting out. And the channel's kind of blowing up right now. And so the challenge I face is that I do want to start taking this more seriously, I guess, if you will, to the point where I can't be putting out content that's going to hurt the channel. So like stuff like the PGA golf content in the fall is tougher to produce because it ultimately hurts the channel. I would show you guys the chart on YouTube. It's kind of crazy. So like, it's like a spike putting out NFL and NBA DFS content. And then the PGA comes out and it's like a boom, stalls. And then it goes down a little bit. And then more NFL content goes back. It's the weirdest thing. And it's been weird because like this fall stretch has been so good. It's weird, but I'm just trying to figure out ways to put the PGA DFS content out in a way that's not going to hurt the channel, which is going to help me be able to help you guys out. Because obviously that's the ultimate goal. So whether it is doing a live stream instead of like the 5-minute core plays video that I've been trying to put out, I'll figure that out. But at the same time, I want to help as much people out as possible, especially right now. And I hate to dwell on this, but I have seen some interesting stuff on social media during this fall swing. And I'm not one to ever call anything out or anything like that. I'm never going to do that. But it does worry me. So I do feel like I need to do my part and put out more information to help you guys out, as much as possible. And honestly, like I do miss the live streams because there's a bunch of times where there would be a play in which, maybe not a standout play, but someone that is a decent play that someone might have a question on, or someone that's a terrible play that someone has a question on that I can lead them in the right direction. Just small stuff like that I do kind of miss. Now, obviously, no one's ever going to be 100%. That's the nature of fantasy sports. But the more I can help you guys out, the better. But once again, I want to help out the most people as well. So it's kind of just something I'm trying to figure out. And I do want to make this more of a show. I was working on a new template here. You guys are seeing the end screen video and whatnot. But I would like to have like an actual show, like a golf show setup where it's not just a typical live stream or typical video. It is more of a kind of like what I used to do in the past, I guess, with the 15-minute videos where it'd be, all right, here's the intro to the tournament. Here is the stats that we're looking at and why. Here are the golfers that have the best course history, the best stat fits. I would like to get into that as a live stream. And that'd be, a 30-minute video, one in which I'm not talking too much, but one in which you guys are getting value out of. And it's just like a show. And then if there are questions that arise, I can answer them during it. That is something I want to do, but once again, it takes a lot of time. And especially during the fall, It's like, is it worthwhile? And I don't know if it is or not. I might test it out next week or the following week to see if that's something that'd be worthwhile to have an actual like golf show instead of the PGA DFS core plays video. But honestly, guys, I'm excited for football to be over so I can get into more PGA DFS content, especially with all the updates that I've been making and whatnot. I'm excited to get that out to people. I'm excited to show that off to people and the updates that I am making too as well. So I'm excited for it. So hopefully you guys have a good week. I know there's a lot of talking in this video, not as much like actionable information as I typically like to get out to you guys. So I apologize for that, but hopefully you guys have a good Houston Open and hopefully you guys have had a good fall and hopefully it continues. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's have a good slate. And as always,